Your host Noah Love, and today we have one topic today. It's getting that point in the year with slow news, but it's going to take up a lot of the time. Still will be a semi-long video. We will be talking about the Pacers and Thunder in the NBA Finals. We will be going through their journeys to get here and as the final start this upcoming Thursday, and we will talk about the matchups, who has the coaching advantage, what each team needs to do to win the championship. Pacers looking for the first NBA championship, Thunder looking for their second. Well, really their first, but we're not counting the Sonics. So, yes, I'm not counting the Sonics. So, they're first as well. Let's get into it. The journey here. Let's obviously start with the favorites here in the OKC Thunder. They ended up beating the Grizzlies in 4 games. The games 3 and 4 were close. Games 1 and 2 weren't. Look, that series should have went 6 games because if Jaw doesn't get hurt in game 3, they win. And I believe Memphis also wins game 4 because they're great on the road. That's just me. But yeah, I think that would have won 6 games. Obviously, their toughest series so far was the Nuggets. They lost game 1 where well the fouling up three didn't work out this time. It didn't work out this time. They obviously missed the free. Holmgren missed 2 free throws. The Westbrook to Gordon three that happened. Game 2 they blew him out. Game 3 they lost in overtime. Shea was not good in that game. Probably a low point in the playoffs. Game 4 it was a struggle, but they found a way to grind it out and win. Game 5 they won. Game 6 they lost. It was a tough game. In Game 7 they blew out Denver to get to the conference finals. And then obviously they had a bad Game 3 loss against Minnesota, but after that, look, they blew out Minnesota in 3 of the other 4 games. Game 4 was the close one. Gilgeous-Alexander 49 and 10 in that game was incredible. And then obviously they blew out Minnesota in Game 5. Minnesota looked like they didn't want to be there, and the Thunder made them quit early on. This man, man, I mean, the Thunder have pretty much dominated through the playoffs. Uh, their overall record right now is 12-4. They've done they've dominated in the playoffs. Look, I'm OKC early. I thought they would be a very good team because they won 56 games last year with a 1 seed. I thought they'd be the 1 seed again. I thought they'd be good. Didn't think they'd be like 68 win this juggernaut who historically, I mean, I didn't know they'd be this good. So they're great. To me, all year, nobody was going to beat OKC in the West. That's just me because, like, if you really think about it, it was OKC, then there was a big gap. Like, who was really the second best team in the West? My point. Uh, there was a big gap. So, with OKC, a lot of people were really just nitpicking, but the experience point was the main issue because if that wasn't brought up, then to there was no other reason to say they wouldn't make it. They have the star, they have the MVP of the league, they have the star, they have obviously that Robin, which is J Dub, who was an all-star. So they had two All-NBA players as a SGA and J Dub. They have a great rim protector in Holmgren, who's also coming into his zone. They can stretch the floor. A they have toughness guys with Caruso and Hardenstein and Cason Wallace, and they have the depth. Aaron Wiggins, obviously Caruso, Cason Wallace, Isaiah Joe. Uh, the Thunder have had everything this year. And look, a lot of things have to go right for you to get to this round. But people are going to say, well, they're lucky. No, when you win, I've heard people say that. No, when you win 68 games, you're not lucky. The Thunder are just a damn good basketball team. That's what it is. That's what it is. And they are here. Now, the other team that's here, it's not as simple as what I just laid out. It's not as simple. The Pacers. Obviously, I kind of rambled in the last reaction vid and then talked about the moment and everything. This team coming in this year, I thought they'd be a top 4 seed. I thought they'd win 50 games. They did it despite the fact that they started off 10 and 15. I kept the faith, and there were injuries early. They started getting guys back. Obviously, made some trades for some depth, and it kept winning. Look, they're the 4 seed coming in. Milwaukee. I picked the Pacers to beat Milwaukee. Obviously, they did it in 5. Look, even with Dame there, Dame was not good. Their second best player was Gary Trent Jr. Look, game 1, they destroyed Milwaukee. Game 2, they went wire to wire with them. They led the whole way. Game 3, they lost. Trent went crazy. Game 4, another wire to wire win. The crazy game was game 5, where back and forth tug of war. We thought we're going to game 6. Then the Bucks kind of just like choke. That's just kind of what it was. Nembhard makes it 3. There's a turnover. Halliburton gets an and 1. Then there's another turnover. Halliburton gets a layup to take the lead, and the full court heave is nothing, and the Pacers win it. I said they would have a legit. After that, they go on to face Cleveland. I said they had a legit shot in the Cleveland series. Game 1, they they proved me right. Look, people will be like, "Oh well, Garland wasn't there." Yeah, fine. Okay, yeah, but everybody else was there, and the Pacers clearly looked like the better team, the more physically and mentally tougher. Game 2, you think one crazy finish like they had against Milwaukee, you don't think they do it again. Oh, they did it again. Down 7 with 48 seconds left. Halliburton hits a crossover step back game winner to beat the Cavs, who are the number 1 seed, 164 games. Who a lot of people thought, look, if it ain't Boston coming out the East, it'd be them. And thinking maybe Cleveland versus OKC or whatever the case may be. Obviously, game 3 didn't go according to plan. They didn't play well. Game 4, look, they won by 20. They were up by 40 at the half. They took the foot off the gas, and they destroyed Cleveland. And then in game 5, they get down 20 again. They were down 20 in the Milwaukee game. They were down 20 in game 2 against Cleveland. Down 20 again against Cleveland game 5. And obviously Halliburton stepped up and they have ended up advancing to the East Finals. They, Halliburton and East, all of them were great. So this is kind of already an improbable run here. Now they're going up against obviously the Knicks, who themselves had a little bit of an improbable run because some people picked them to lose to Detroit. They ended up beating them in the tough 6 games, and then they beat the Celtics in 6 to advance to their first East Finals in 25 years. You think 2 crazy finishes were that's enough? The Pacers did it again. This time more crazy. They were down 15. They were down 14 with 2 minutes and 40 to go, and and then Aaron Neesmith happened. He got hot. The Knicks missed some free throws, had some turnovers, and then Halliburton hit that step back shot. Long two, he did the choke, which was pretty funny. And then the Pacers ended up going on to win the game in overtime. They also ended up winning game 2, where Siakam had 39. The Knicks obviously came back in game 3, and I thought, look, in that game, I thought the Pacers were going to be on their way. They're going to sweep New York. Now what happened? Uh, New York fought, came back. They were able to win. Then Halliburton had one of the best games I've seen from a Pacer, and probably the best game this postseason. 32, 12, and 15 with no turnovers in game 4. And then to put them up 3-1, and then game 5, the Knicks came back, obviously. And they dominated. And in game 6, the Pacers did it in front of their home crowd. Siakam, Halliburton, Thomas Bryant, Nembhard, Toppin. Everybody chipped in. Everybody was great. And they won 4-2. So they're 12-5 in the playoffs. Excuse me, no, they are also 12-4 in the playoffs. The Pacers are. So look, the Pacers are here improbable. I picked them to beat New York. I because the depths said they'd have a shot against Cleveland. Thought it'd go 7. They dominated and went 5. They beat Milwaukee. I thought it would go 6. It went 5. So I've been right on, I guess, the teams on them winning, but not the amount of games. Well, I guess in the conference finals I was. Now we're here. The NBA Finals. OKC is going to have home court. The first game, June 5th. Second game, June 8th on a Sunday. Third game, Wednesday, June 11th. Fourth game, Friday, June 13th. And then the fifth game's on a Monday. I think this is a 6-game series. A lot of people are going to choose the Thunder in this. This is going to be a heck of a series, let me tell you. The keys to the series for me, if I am the Pacers, rebounding. You can Isaiah Hardenstein, great offensive rebounder. Holmgren obviously can rebound a little bit too. They have to be able to grab the defensive rebound so they can get out and run. That's going to be a key. Obviously, the 3-point shooting is going to be a key. Halliburton, because Dort's going to guard him. If Dort's out the game, Caruso or Wallace, it could be either or, will guard him. They are going to have a lot to throw at him. He's going to have to be aggressive, and he is going to have to find a way to just not turn the ball over, because if you turn the ball over against OKC, it's death. It's death. And the reason I say it's death is because both teams. You turn the ball over against both teams, it's death because they both get out in fast break, and they're just so great at it. So obviously, turnovers is going to be another big factor in this game or in this series. So that's really a big thing for the Pacers. I think another key player, Nimhard, he's going to have to be better on the offensive end. He's probably going to take SGA. Neesmith will probably take J Dub, obviously, but they'll run some actions to try to get SGA on, or Halliburton to guard SGA. I think the Pacers have the coaching advantage. I like Carlisle over Dagnall, but Dagnall is not like a bad coach by any means. He's a great coach. It's just Rick has the experience. Uh, I think for the Thunder, what it's about defense, the pace. The slower the pace, I know they want to be like, oh, we can run too, which they can. But I think the slower the pace is the slower the pace is gonna dictate the Thunder winning. Look, because even though yes, they can play fast like Indiana, they have the athletes to do it. The Thunder, they have a great half court guy in SGA. The Pacers have a half court guy in Pascal Siakam, but as you've seen, once the pace slows down, it's not a pretty sight. The Pacers can't play slow. We've seen that. They want to get out and they want to run. And Halliburton, they do that better than anybody else. So the pace is for both because if the Pacers play this series at their pace, they have a good shot to pull off this upset. But if the Thunder kind of slow it down a little bit, that because they're so great in their half court defense, and they're good in transition defense as well, but their half court defense is just suffocating at points, they'll have a chance. Obviously the depth is going to be big. Uh, f- to me, the guy that's going to have to show up is Matherin. To me, if the Pacers bench can outplay the Thunder bench, the Pacers have a shot. Uh, but the Thunder's bench is just so good defensively. Uh, too, again, they can go 10, 11 deep, and both teams can. So it's gonna be a series about whose bench comes in and plays better as well. This series just has so many different layers to it. Look, I know the casual fans are gonna be like, "This is awful." Da 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 da. Don't listen to them. For if you've watched the NBA religiously and you've kept up with everybody, and you're looking at these two matchups or these two teams in this matchup, this is a great matchup for the league. It's a great matchup for the NBA. Two small market teams, one that plays a very enjoyable brand of basketball, the other who it may not be as enjoyable at points, but when they get out and run, it's kind of cool, and they just defend. They defend. They're gritty and they defend. It's literally David versus Goliath. It's literally 68 wins, historic team versus the power of friendship. That's kind of what it feels like. Pacers being the power of friendship, obviously. So I think this series is going to be fantastic. I think this goes six. The key for the Pacers is obviously going to be trying to take one on the road and then staying solid at home. OKC's been a great road team. So has the Pacers. So you never know. that environment, it's going to be rocking. It's just in the year of 2025, this finals matchup of Pacers and OKC, like if I'm being honest, I would never guessed it. I would have never guessed that this would have been the finals matchup. This is great. Obviously, the Pacers are gonna have to find a way to slow down SGA. Whether it's that they throw doubles at him, they hard hedge, is whatever. Both teams move the ball incredibly well. Uh, and obviously, we can talk about all the stats we won and all that. It's the pace. It's gonna be about the pace of the game. And I know Pacers and pace, but the Pacers want to get out and run. They do that almost better than anybody in the NBA. If they're running constantly, I'm not saying OKC can't try to win that way because they do have the athletes to do that, but whereas New York did not, Milwaukee and Cleveland did not, it'd be tough. It'd be tough. That's why I'm thinking the slower the pace is, it will be in OKC's favor. This is going to be tremendous, man. I really just cannot wait to get these finals underway. By the way, one point I wanted to hit before I get out of here, about the superstars we're trying to stack, super teams. That them days are over. If you look at the NBA champion since 2019. 2019 was the Raptors. That was Kawhi and look, Lowry, Siakam were good, but it was Kawhi and a bunch of depth. 2020 was the Lakers. It was LeBron and AD and a bunch of depth. 2021 was Giannis and basically a bunch of depth. Middleton was an all-star caliber player. Drew was great, Brooke, but just a deep team. 2022 was the Warriors. It was Steph and a bunch of depth. And they were great role players. Poole, Wiggins, Draymond, Looney, all of them. 2023 was the Nuggets. Joker was great. Jamal Murray was playing at an all-star caliber level. It was like clutch. But then it was a bunch of depth. 2024, it was the Celtics, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and a bunch of depth. And now, even if you look at the 4 teams that finished, the Knicks, Brunson, Cat, depth, and some, Brunson, Cat, some depth. Halliburton, Siakam, depth. SGA, J-Dub, Chet, depth. Ant, Randall, depth. Stars with depth behind it is how you win. It's no longer big threes, big fours. It's either a one guy and just a bunch of role players, or it's 2 all-stars and some great role players. That's basically what is becoming, I think, with the second apron that's in the CBA. And I don't think Adam Silver liked that every year. It was the same 2 teams, so we kind of invented that second apron. And I love it. There's going to be a new NBA champion for 7th straight year. I love it. All right. This has been my NBA Finals preview between the Thunder and the Pacers. This has been your latest episode of the Don't Argue with the Facts podcast. Thank you guys for all the recent supports, especially on the YouTube Shorts. I enjoy it. I appreciate it. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, and peace. See ya.